Hi, everyone. This is Tom Parmalee with funeralvision.com. Today, joining me is Michael Schimmel, the CEO of Sympathy Brands. Thanks so much for joining me, Michael.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
First, some folks out there aren't familiar with your story. I know you're a lawyer, and so I guess my first question is, how did a lawyer end up starting a software company that serves funeral homes and cemeteries?
Certainly. My career started in the technology world and then evolved into law and tax laws as well. Over time, everyone has an event that drives them into this industry. Either you're kind of born into it or some life event draws you to it. I was the latter. When my grandmother had passed away, I recognized and saw some of the challenges, the issues with navigating end of life and figuring out what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and that led to the formation of Sympathy Brands, along with some of our consumer brands, which is really designed to help individuals, people, and then it evolved into funeral directors and the industry with navigating all of the challenges along the way with finding a funeral home, with going through the planning process of planning for a funeral, as well as those that are supporting and providing comfort, and the grievers, of course. That was one of the things that sort of event driven wise brought me to the industry.
Now, I called you a software company. I'm not sure if that's quite accurate because you have your hands in a lot of different things. So why don't you, walk us through a little bit? What services do you provide, funeral homes and cemeteries?
Certainly. So as a starting place, we created and delivered consumer brands, which helped the broad public to find information, guidance, and seek resources to navigate end of life. That did evolve into several years into it. And that was with Shiva.com, cemetery.com, econdolence.com, all really prominent consumer brands to help inform and support the general consumer. Knowing and understanding consumers so well was very natural for us, and through a lot of relationship within the industry, to build out Sympathy Brand software platform, which is an end-to-end software for funeral homes and cemeteries. And as time has gone on, and through interaction with independents, uh, consolidators, regional consolidators, and others, what we found is that whether it's streaming, whether it's aftercare, whether it's prayer card service folder design, QR code generation, all of contract creation, all of the pieces that are needed to operate and run a funeral home, we were able to, in essence, build a really nice case management platform and end-to-end solution to help with creating operational efficiencies and uh, driving revenue for the funeral homes that we work with.
Those URLs, I mean, those are some prime URLs. Did you have to pay big bucks for that, or
Mhm.
did you just get to them early and see something before others, saw the potential?
So we were fortunate and spent, before entering the industry and really doing something, I spent the better part of 15 months researching the industry, the consumers, and really learning and understanding it. Part of that process was finding and identifying prominent URLs that we felt would support what we were trying to do. So in addition to those three major ones, we also have around 700 other domain names that are focused on death care and the related topics that we want to be able to cover. And so we were fortunate to do this very early, but also, we paid some to get a few of those domain names as well.
Well, that's amazing. T talk a little bit more about that interface between how you serve funeral homes and cemeteries and also the consumer. I think of how many members of the public must be visiting those sites, and personally, I think of pre-need and lead generation. Is that something you're involved in at all, or is that something you can help funeral homes and cemeteries with?
Absolutely. So we are really, we pride ourselves and feel we differentiate because we can inject ourselves and support funeral home owners and operators, whether you're a large consolidator or whether you're an independent. We want to provide the best level of service and standard of care for families, whether they're in a pre-need scenario or an at-need scenario. And so our software platform is a full case management platform. It has everything in there, to make and help you really efficiently run your business, but it's built for funeral directors by funeral directors. And it has a really easy to use interface, and it connects to websites, and it does everything that, you see out there, but our team injects itself to provide personal support and help along the way. That our case management platform does come together with a lead gen mechanism to support on the consumer side. So it ties into Shiva.com or eCondolence or cemetery.com, where when consumers come, our goal is to help our partners grow their business. So there is an absolute direct tie to pre-need with the at need, and those that are coming and just looking for things online. We want to make sure that it's a way to expand the web presence um, and the visibility of any partners that we work with.
What's your biggest, or you can list more than one, obviously. What's some of your challenges as a business owner? What are some of the things that you have a tough time navigating and are trying to get your hands around?
I think that the dialogue that we're having is, and this I appreciate because it's unique, it's authentic, and it's real. And I believe some of that is missing, where there's an authenticity that's required. And I believe wholeheartedly there should be an open dialogue to lift up the whole industry and to advance where we're at. I think that technology has, to a certain extent, been commoditized within the industry, which is a challenge. So it's not as appreciated or understood, because it's scary. So I think there's some opportunities to allow technology and the operations to come together to better enhance and improve the experience for the consumer that's going through it, but also, and this is something that the industry I think is really will be helpful, is help the funeral directors, the arrangers, the owners, the managers to do their day to day in an easier, more seamless manner. So I think that's a challenge I've seen. I also think, there's a lot of outside investment that's been getting infused into the industry with folks that aren't necessarily as familiar or understanding of the industry, and it's a shiny object. So without the commitment to really learning and understanding what the industry is about and how it's evolving to support it the right way, it creates some tension between the industry, the operators in the industry, and the consumers don't end up getting what they really want.
That's a pretty good segue to a new initiative you have coming up. You have an event called the Future of Death Care Summit. I think you're teaming up with Fortitude on that prior to the NFDA convention. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Absolutely. So in association with the NFDA, the Saturday leading into this year's convention, we're going to be hosting a day-long event where the goal and objective is to discuss and evaluate the future of death care and all of the different facets, from pre-need to technology to operations, but to M&A, and to understand the processes, but also to bring together the thought leaders and to start to have these dialogues that are real and authentic and meaningful to help advance the industry, but also to not just be a run-of-the-mill or standard event. It's going to be, a really good event where we bring in outsiders who have an understanding in adjacent industries to support it. We're going to bring in also industry folks to help to uplift the dialogue and maybe have some tough conversations with each other in different settings. So we really are very, very excited about that, but also really to help lead the way on some of these discussions and advancements that we see will be taking place within the next handful of years within the industry over time.
Well, it sounds very exciting, Michael. I just want to thank you for joining me. I really enjoy chatting with like business leaders like you, learning more about what you're doing, what you're worried about, because it tells me what I should be worried about. Any final thoughts?
No, I appreciate you having me today, and you do great work, and we've had a long-standing relationship. So any of these dialogues, I think, are healthy and appropriate for all of us to have. So I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.